Nan, you'd like to start? I'll start sharing the screen.
Yes. Hello everyone and welcome to the webinar on how best use of MyKYCBank. Here we will let you know about how exactly you can use and further use the MyKYCBank platform. Make sure that you have complied with all the at least KYC related regulations. So Pranay,
Thanks, Nan. Thank you for the introduction. First, I'd like to welcome everyone to the webinar. As Nan mentioned, the focus of this webinar is how to best use MyKYCBank and all the facilities and features which are part of this platform. So to start the process, we will, and I'll do a quick recap of what is a KYC. I don't need to tell most of you all what is a KYC or know your customer or know your counterparty. It's a process where you identify important information about your customer or supplier. And why do you really need to do this? You need to do a KYC because one, you need to know who are the counterparties you're dealing with. It's important from a pure business perspective. Second, there's a legal obligation that you have to have a risk-based anti-money laundering program in place. And of course, there's if you look at various requirements in industry-led responsible sourcing programs, again, AML is part of this and you need to do a KYC. So that's all good, but am I really required by law to do it? So globally, what the anti-money laundering program is driven by the Financial Action Task Force. There are nearly 40 countries which are part of this FATF. And that has identified our sector as a designated non-finance business or profession. Big term, but what does this mean? Basically, it means that obligations which are there with banks and other financial institutions, similar obligations are also there on our sector. And the FATF recommends that in our sector, companies need to have a risk-based AML program in place. As you know, the first step of a risk-based AML program is knowing the KYC. And mostly what happens is that becomes a very difficult issue because it's not very easy to get data from counterparties. Typically, you're more focused on the business. You really don't want to waste your time getting all this information. So FATF only gives guidelines and individual countries actually make the necessary laws. And FATF periodically evaluates those countries. And if you look at the evaluations from Belgium, from Israel, from China and Hong Kong, you can see that in these evaluations, our sector is starting to become more and more a part of the focus. The initial few years of the FATF are more focused on the financial industry, but as industry has come into shape, more and more attention is being given on our sector. In India, the FATF mutual evaluation was supposed to have happened in September or October this year, but because of COVID, it's got postponed. Currently, it will probably happen in November, December of next year, which is 2021. Under the PMLA in India, so since some of the audience would be more with India, industry was covered in 2012 when the law was amended, and in 2017, the GST intelligence was appointed as the regulator for our sector. Now, the AML is an evolving, I would say, regulation, and as late or as recent as last week, you'd have seen the changes on the new transparency law, which happened in the US. This law was passed with a bundle of other laws, but basically companies do have to declare their beneficial ownership to FinCEN. So that is considered a big step in the transparency, corporate transparency. But it's very likely that these would ultimately get extended to our sector as well. Currently, there is it's still a little ambiguous there. So that being said about KYC, how can MyKYCBank help you, or how can it help you in your KYC process or in your due diligence? So a quick recap: what is MyKYCBank? MyKYCBank is an online platform where members of approved trade bodies, so the trade bodies who have signed up with us, their members can come online, they can register, complete their own profile, and then share their KYC information. What is done is the KYC standards which we set have been done after looking at a large number of countries, so that it's a kind of best-in-class requirement. After verification, companies get a unique identification, so it becomes very easy to identify the company. And sharing becomes very seamless once you are on the platform. So, a lot of companies have said that, it is challenging. We know that companies do get rejected when they apply for activation or submit their profile because some information is missing. But we are like gatekeepers. We need to ensure that the companies who register and who are given access to the platform, the data for all the companies is consistent and it is up to a certain standard. But now that you've done all the exercise, you've completed your profile, you've got a permanent ID, how does it help me? What do you do next? So the platform is actually designed to reduce your efforts in compliance and data sharing. Giving your data is just the first step. Once you get the data, there are 3 or 4 broad areas which you can do. One, you can share your profile and make connections with counterparties, which means they can see the KYC, your KYC, and vice versa. You can regularly verify and update your profile, so you're telling your connections and your counterparties that my KYC is current, nothing has changed, or if there is a change, you can do it very easily. You don't have to do it multiple times for everyone, you just do it once. You can share other data like non-KYC documents. Again, these are strictly on approval basis, so the platform will not automatically allow you to give that information. If someone wants that information, a request will be sent to you and you will have to approve it. And lastly, but not the least, you can help your bankers in their transaction monitoring obligations, which is also under money laundering, anti-money laundering programs. So the basic step in all of this, the first step is really how do you connect with your counterparties. So very simple, the platform is designed like a social network platform. Think about a LinkedIn or a Facebook, but with a curated portion to it. So all you have to do is you say add connection. You can enter the code of your counterparty, or you can search by the name, or you can even scan the QR code of the counterparty. Either of these. So if you have a phone and you scan the QR code, it will take you to a login screen. You log in, and the connection will be sent. So once this is done, the connection will appear in your sent box, just like any other social network platform. Periodically, what we would recommend, it's still early days. Some companies are a little tardy in trying to open up their box, etc. So while a mail would be sent, we do request you that you can just drop an email or call the company you're dealing with saying, hey, I've sent you a request, can you please accept it? What happens if you are the recipient of a connection or request? So if someone wants to connect to you, you can download your QR code and share it with them. Alternatively, you can give your number. So your number would typically in India be an IN followed by a 6-digit number. If you're in Belgium, it would be a BE followed by a 6-digit number. So a number. So you can share your code with them, and they can send you a request. We do recommend that you periodically look at your received box. So in your received box, you'll get all your requests. If you accept them, automatically the connection is made. Again, you don't have to accept them, just like any other platform. If some random person sends you a request, you want to reject it, please feel free and reject that. You will not be connected with that party. So that's the initial bit where you've started connecting and how do you connect with parties. But now really coming to the meat of the program, saying how do you actually start sharing this information? So first and foremost, once you're connected with the counterparty, the KYC of the counterparty will be available online to you. So when I say a KYC would be available online, it's what we call a standard 2-pager profile or the basic profile. This has all the relevant information, all the specific information for the party. It has also got screening information, but it does not have any supporting documents. So to complete your profile, you need to submit supporting documents. The basic profile is just a simple 2-pager. In normal business scenarios, this is something which should be sufficient because all the information has been verified before it's been allowed to come onto the platform. Additionally, if you need what we call the profile with supporting documents, this would become a heavy PDF file. You need explicit approval. So just like you sent a connection request, you can send a request to the counterparty saying, I want to see this, your full PDF, and I'll show you how you can do that. Once they accept it, it will be available for you for a week. The entire system has been designed keeping privacy and security at top of mind. All of us are concerned about it, and the system has been designed to ensure that. Every information, when I say a KYC is available, it's not a web page. It's a PDF. The PDF is protected with a password. The password depends on the person downloading the file. Additionally, all the PDFs are watermarked. So if I am downloading the file, the PDF will show me my name. So it becomes very clear that who's the person who's downloaded this file if it's misused for any reason. Additionally, there is full transparency, so I can at any point of time go and see the history saying who all have downloaded my KYC profile and when did they do that, and so if your connection has downloaded something, that's there and available for you to review. All that is good. I can, so I understand that I can share my KYC, but then how does this benefit my company? What does it for me? One, you can basically improve the compliance while simultaneously ensuring that their costs are in check. One, standardized information of KYC is available. You don't have to, once you start using the platform, you know exactly where a particular piece of information on that PDF will be. So it becomes very easy for you to search through or check any information. You also know this information has been verified, it's been checked. In our process, though I'm not covering it in this webinar, we do have a last part, which is a physical verification of the documents. If that is done, you will see what we call a seal of trust, saying this profile, the physical verification has also happened. That gives you added benefit that all these documents and papers are genuine, and this information is genuine. Second, you need to upload your documents only once. Now, unlike a situation of a financial institute or bank, where the bank asks you to provide KYC documents, you do not do a KYC on the bank. That doesn't happen. In our scenario, a customer has to do the KYC on the supplier, and the supplier has to do a KYC on the customer. So it's a double process. So in terms of effort, it's a double effort. Now on the platform, you don't have to keep doing this with everyone. You just have to do it thoroughly, but you have to do it once. Once it is done on the platform, you can immediately start sharing it, as we've seen. Additionally, if you have to, if there is a change, or you need to do something, or you need to re-verify that, okay, my KYC is still alive, I have to do that again only once. I don't have to do it multiple times for every party I deal with. Otherwise, typically what happens in today's scenario, you are emailing across documents, to do various parties whenever you start dealing with them. All that goes away on this platform. Everything is securely tracked. Everything is easily available to the parties you give access to. As mentioned, all profiles are checked against international sanctions list, media reports, negative media, all of that. So typically a small company or a small unit might not have the wherewithal to actually go ahead and do these checkings or these verifications. We do that. We have to do it only once, and it's available to everyone. So coming to, just to give you a flavor of how it will look on the profile. So if you go into your My Connections, so there's next to My Profile, there's a My Connections. You click on View Connections, it will show you all your connections. It's just like a list of parties you're connected to. You can search for the respective party. Against the line of the party, there will be a small KYC symbol here. And if you look at the bottom, it says KYC 2-pager PDF. The moment you click on that KYC symbol, you will get the standard 2-pager KYC or the basic KYC of that particular party who is connected to you. So it's immediately available. You see there's a dialog box that please wait while the KYC is generated. The PDF password is also provided. What is the logic for the password is given. So you're expected to fill out use that password to open that PDF file. As I mentioned, the PDF file is password protected. If you want the full profile or the profile with supporting documents, again, right next to a couple of icons down the line, you can see another icon which looks like a kind of PDF icon. It says PDF with supporting documents. So automatically, if you want that one, you click here. A request would be sent into the received box. If you remember, there was a sent box and received box. It will go into the received box of your counterparty. The moment they access the receipt, in your connections, you say active KYC requests. This request will be active for you for 1 week. So this company, this PDF is available to you for 1 week. And you can download that PDF and do your necessary due diligence. Again, as I mentioned, everything is tracked and you can see the history for all of these actions whenever a PDF is downloaded, either by you or your PDF is downloaded by your connection. So we saw how we can share the KYC, how we can share the KYC of your counterparties. You can view it. But apart from that, the big advantage of the system is if something changes or if you need to re-verify, it becomes extremely easy for you to do it in the system. It has to be done only once. So I'll just kind of go back for a minute to the previous slide. I just wanted to take the note of this saying verified on. The verified on date reflects the date on which you last confirmed that the KYC profile is active or it is correct. So the question is, do I really need to do a KYC repeatedly? I just gave my documents once and I'm done. Well, it's not that simple. Even if you look at your bank, they would be periodically asking you to verify that your KYC is done or confirm that your KYC is done or resubmit documents. There are various processes on how people do it. But getting your counterparty's KYC is not a one-time activity. Why is that? There could be changes. The KYC could change. An address might change. A director might change. There might be other numbers which might change. So all of this requires a constant updation of the profile. And periodically, even if nothing changes, you periodically still have to confirm that there has been no change in your profile. So periodically, you have to re-verify that your KYC has not changed. Again, as I mentioned, the advantage on MyKYCBank, you have to do this only once. If something changes or you have to verify that nothing has changed on my profile, you have to do it only once and all your counterparties or your connections get to see it immediately. So there are two steps. One, update any changes. So when you have to update, you don't have to do your whole profile again. You only have to update the relevant changes. Process is again similar. We do not allow information which is not verified to come onto the platform. So we will verify that information. Once we are satisfied, it will be published and automatically your changes would be available to your counterparties. As per the terms and conditions, within 1 month of you having access to, or there being a change, you are requested to go ahead and do the changes on the platform as well. Periodically, the platform will also auto-prompt you to re-verify your profile. Every 6 months, it's an automated online re-verification. You will get a simple OTP, either email or phone, you can choose. Based on that, the profile will be reconfirmed that on this date and so time, you've reconfirmed that there have been no changes to your profile. So it tells your counterparty that the profile is live, there are no changes. Every 2 years, you are expected to download your profile. It would be very similar to the standard 2-pager which you share with your counterparties. So you will download that, sign and stamp it and upload it to confirm that there has been no change to your profile. And probably once in 6 years, we will do a full re-verification again of your entire profile. So how do you update your profile. If I want to update my profile, again, select the profile tab, go to modify profile. It will start, you say start the modification, and you will be able to view your profile and you can make changes to specific elements of it. Once you submit it, the changes are verified as per the normal process. So the compliance team will check it. Once they're satisfied with it, they will okay the change. Again, sample for your OTP re-verification. So every 6 months, you will get a prompt once you log in saying, you have not completed your half-yearly re-verification. Can you please do this? If you want to update, it allows you to update it. You can ask for the OTP. The OTP verification will be done. And now your connections can see that your profile is a recent profile. So that was the second part, saying keeping your profile or your KYC live, that this is something which is current. It reflects the state of on the ground today. The third part is, how do you share your non-KYC documents with your counterparties? So the platform does allow you to share other documents on MyKYCBank. These are securely shared, just like the PDFs you've talked about, but there are predefined types of documents and not just the KYC. So these are not necessarily a KYC document. The team will look at the document only to check that if you say that a financial balance sheet has been uploaded, it'll check. The team will only check that, okay, what document is there looks like a P&L and balance sheet, and the dates and the validity are correct. They are not going to check the content of the document, because this is strictly between you and the person you're sharing with. They will check that when the document is there, it's the correct document or the correct type of document, and the validity dates are correct. The KYC profile will only show the availability of the document. So if you look at your KYC standard 2-pager PDF, it will, at the bottom, in one section, it will show you that these documents are available for sharing by the counterparty. Once you want them, you send a specific request on specific approval. Again, in your live active documents, you can download the particular PDF for 7 days. So just to show how to add the documents, you go into My Profile, there is shared documents. The list will drop down as to what kind of documents. Currently, we have 4 defined in the system: credit rating, financial statements, RJC, system of warranties. If you update or upload any one of them, you can put the date, from date, validity date, and automatically it will be uploaded into your system once the backend confirms it. How do I look for a document? So I've uploaded the document, but if I want to see this document of my counterparty, how do I look for it? So you go to the view connections. In any connection, you go for the last icon. If you look at the last icon, here it shows you other documents. So you can look at the other documents and it will show you what all options are available. Select the ones which you want. A request would be sent for to the counterparty. As mentioned, KYC active requests is where you'll be able to see the live documents for 1 week after the acceptance. So that covered the third part, which is sharing your active documents. Then coming to the last part, which is assisting your banker in transaction monitoring. So this is something which is people might not be that aware of, but under the same anti-money laundering laws, banks are expected to monitor every transaction and to ensure that there is no money laundering. And how do they do that? If they think there is money laundering, they are supposed to report transactions which are suspicious. Now, in our industry, the industry is classified as a high risk. B, the value of transactions typically is large, which automatically raises flags everywhere. And the third thing is a lot of these transactions are international transactions as well. So all these just add to the higher risk nature of our transactions. Now, if the bank has easy access to the KYC of your counterparty, so I am a company in India and Nayan is a company in Belgium, and we are connected. If my Indian bank has, I get a remittance from the Belgian company. If my Indian bank can see that the Belgian company is on the system, and this is the KYC of the system or of the counterparty, it becomes very easy for them to say, okay, this transaction looks kosher, it looks all right, we can clear this. So it reduces their effort in transaction monitoring. It also avoids delays in your transaction. So there's a dual benefit for you as well, that by helping your bank clear your transactions faster. So how will banks access this platform? So banks have a special kind of access where they can see their connection, their customer's connection. So if my bank is connected to me, they can see the KYC of my connections. So to give you a social network analogy, they have a friend of friend kind of access, while everyone else has just they can only see their connections directly. Banks get this special access. So the bank needs to be connected to you. Once they're connected to you, when they're trying to look at the profile, they need to clearly indicate on whose behalf they are looking at the profile. So let's say my bank wants to see Nayan's profile. They will have to say that I'm looking at this profile on behalf of Nayan or on behalf of Pranay. So automatically, all the three parties, that is the bank, Pranay and Nayan, they can see that the KYC has been viewed, or Pranay can see that KYC has been viewed on his behalf. Nayan can see that the KYC was viewed by the bank on behalf of Pranay. And of course, the bank sees that they have viewed this particular profile. Again, whenever I say view profile, it's the standard 2-pager document. If anyone requires the full document with the supporting documents, they will have to go in for a specific request and acceptance process. Now, how does Nayan control who he gives access to? So that access, again, as I mentioned, the system has been designed keeping in mind privacy and security. So there are privacy settings, and based on your privacy settings, this access will be given. So I can control the privacy settings on who can see my profile. So my counterparties, banks or special connections, how can they see my profile, or how do I allow them to see my profile? So if you go into your administration section or drop down, you will see the privacy settings. In your privacy settings, there are essentially 3 settings: direct access, access on approval, and no access. The default setting is direct access. So if you have not changed your profile, then it would be set to direct access. That means your counterparty's bank can access your profile. If you do change it, then based on the profile, either a request would be sent to you every time, or there would be no access. But please, I think, again, I would like to put this out that it's very easy to say, I don't want to grant access, but then you are also sending a message to the bank, and the bank might simply decide not to finance your invoice. So that's a choice which you're making when you're making these, when you're setting your privacy. You can set your privacy based on the type of institution. So we've currently in the system defined 3 types, which is financial institutions, banks, and insurance. In future, if there are others which come in, then we might give access to those institutions as well. You can control your access or privacy setting based on the type of institution. So you cannot say that I will allow bank A but not bank B. But what you can say is I will allow banks, or I will not allow banks, or all banks' requests need a specific approval. So that's basically the 4th part, which is how do you control or how do banks get access to the system, and how can you help them with their transaction monitoring. So this is basically the 3-4 things which you can do after you are in the platform and you start connecting with your counterparties. Again, the system has been designed to make it easy to share your share your information with connections. Everything, as you see, is controlled by you. You decide how to give access, not give access, whom to give access. All that is fully under your control. So to kind of end this off, I'd like to say, again, we've got more than 3,800 members on the platform. Please start connecting with your counterparties. it is going to make your life easy. When you have your audits, whether it's for RJC or BPP or the SRSP, all these audits do look at AML compliance. They do look at KYCs. This just makes your life that much easier. If you need more information, please feel free. You can go to the website www.mykycbank.com, and then of course you have the FAQ page and the YouTube videos. Hopefully we'll have this video up in a day, so you'll be able to see this one as well. So wish you, we'll throw this open to questions, or if anyone has any doubts or anything. So Nan, you want to take this? Any questions?
Yes, Pranay. First of all, thank you for indeed the enlightening session for all our members. We do have a question from Mr. Satish, and his question is that, is it compulsory to share entire set of document to our counterpart upon PDF requests?
So we don't segregate between this document can be shared, cannot be shared, because if you are asking for the KYC, the full set of KYC has to go. As I mentioned, the basic PDF is this 2-pager, which is available on request at any point of time. The full set or the full PDF or the full KYC with supporting documents, that is the full set which has been submitted by you. That is available only when you give when you accept the request from the counterparty.
Okay, thank you very much. As of now, this was the only one question. I would like to have all our audiences, which you are there as a participants, request you to please share any kind of a questions do you have.
I'm going to stop sharing.
So I believe there is someone from the named as Galaxy A8 Plus. They've raised a hand, but we will not be able to get their questions unless they write it or type it in the Q&A section. So I would request you to please type it in Q&A section, please.
So there is a question on charges, as I can see.
Yes, I just came up.
Charges are, again, just to kind of give you a background, the entity is a not-for-profit entity. Yes, there are charges. There are subscription charges and a one-time charge. They start from about $30 a year or annually, and they can go up to about, I think it's what, $500 a year. Obviously, the $500 is for companies with a turnover of 100 million plus. This is a specific entity. We don't look at group turnover, where each entity has to register by itself. So a normal company would end up paying about $80 or $100 a year. That's the average cost. For GJ, for the current financial year up to March 31st, 2021, GJPC is paying the charges for its members. So if you're a GJPC member, please, and again, I request you, if you're a GJPC member, please, when you register, use the GJPC code, then you will not be charged. All the other members, the system will automatically charge you for that when you come to submit your profile for activation. The registration is free, but then when you submit, you complete your KYC and submit it to the team the first time, that's when it will charge you.
Okay, thank you, Pranay. There is one more question. These are for only a diamond industry. The platform is only for the diamond industry.
Good question. Again, if you even if you look at the FATF rules, they clearly mention precious metals and precious stones. So it's not just the diamond industry. We are speaking to other trade bodies who are the jewelry industry, who are for example, Dubai Diamond Exchange members can join in. They can be a gold member. They can be part of this platform. There's no problem with it. So Dubai Diamond Exchange contains all precious metals and stones in Dubai. So this is part of DMCC. So again, GJPC members are, again, they are gold members, they are jewelry members, all of them. So it's not just a diamond platform. It's the same problem for the entire gem and jewelry industry. And the only way we can make our lives easier is if we do it through a common platform. Any other question, Anne? I hope I've answered the question.
Yes, there is one more question. This is Ranveer from SBI Diamond Branch, Mumbai. We have sent you a request for empanelment to our HO, but they have not completely understood the model. Does this obviate the requirement of DNB reports that is done in Bradstreet reports?
I will, to answer, the specific query what your HO has, I'm really glad to speak to them. We have no issues with that. Regarding it is, the information is quite similar to a Dun & Bradstreet report. However, in this case, because the information, but in many cases, the Dun & Bradstreet report might not necessarily be information which is from the company. We do not know how periodically they update that information. Given that this platform is for the industry and it is, it's being used by the industry, it will obviously have much more current information. So, which is why it's my answer is that it is going to be a platform which is kind of parallel or similar to DNB, but we focus purely on the KYC and the AML monitoring parts of it.
Thank you, Pranay. I hope Mr. Ranveer got his answers correctly.
And just to add, we do not track any transactions, so we would not be able to help you with credit monitoring or a credit reporting kind of scenario.
Correct. I thank you, Pranay. I hope Mr. Ranveer got the answer. Further to the participants, if you still have any kind of a questions or issues or any doubts, you are feel free to drop an email to either info@mykycbank.com or support@mykycbank.com, and we would be happy to respond to that email.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye and have a happy new year. Hopefully 2021 will be much better than 2020. Okay, take care. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.